Welcome to the McDonald family kitchen. Today I'm enlisting the help of my favorite little helper here. This is my 11-week-old daughter, Macy McDonald, and she's going to be helping me out to make part of our holiday meal. We're going to be making pumpkin soup, and we're going to start with a tablespoon of butter, and we're going to drop this into a Dutch oven. We're here today with John O'Sullivan from Central Oregon Rush Soccer Club.
And to an extent, I'm going to take you to task. Now, this is your profession. How many of these things do you do? Isn't it fair to say, well, if we're going to be developing this, and it is going to be impacting the highway, you have to do the repairs or you have to do the mitigation?
Good morning and welcome to the Sky Tracker Weather Center. Yeah, a little fun here in the Sky Tracker Weather Center. The control room in there telling me this is why you don't wear a green tie, folks. I'm going to have to go change this one. But we've got plenty of weather to talk about. Miles per hour, and look at that. The tie's gone already, so we don't have to see that anymore. You know I'm a diehard Beaver. It's a little hard to talk about the Ducks, but I have told everyone around the office I will be cheering for them in the Rose Bowl.
I was going to say, those two rap remixes, they probably aren't on your iPod.
They are definitely not on my iPod. They're not on my computer. In fact, this might be the only time I listen to it.
Right. But definitely. You can say, go Ducks against Ohio State.
I won't cheer for Ohio State, I'll tell you that much. Well, you know, some football fans are going to be doing more than just watching the big game this Sunday. They may also be loading up on a few extra calories. Guilty as charged. One step outside, you couldn't have missed it today. All that sunshine. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Adam Clark. Oh, you're going on vacation. You've been talking about this trip to Hawaii. Why don't, while you're there, figure it out, and you can do the weather from there for us here.
I would love to
while you're on vacation.
To bring work to my vacation. That sounds great, Matt.
I think it's a fantastic idea, Adam.
We would like to see.
Now, while our butter is melting in the Dutch oven, we'll go ahead and get some of the rest of the ingredients prepared. We're going to chop up one medium-sized yellow onion, add that to the pan. All right, Jay, I'm going to need your help with this. Call this one for me. Heads or tails?
Tails every time.
It is tails. Very good, Jay. Now, we all know the coin toss. It's a simple way to settle a dispute. And last night, with the Bend City Council deadlock 3-3, the decision about who would fill the empty seat on the council almost came down to the flip of a coin.
Now, KOHD Sports with Keith Blyer.
And no, I am not Sports Director Keith Blyer. He's a sick man. We are wishing him well tonight and, of course, a speedy recovery. Not feeling so good. He did leave me some strict instructions. Here's what he said. He said, Duck basketball, then the Beavers. Well, being a Beaver myself, we're going to scrap Keith's order, and we're going to start at Gill Coliseum. This is just for fun, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just for fun. But you have an award we have sitting here on the desk. I'm going to grab this so I can show everyone. This is Best Decorated Christmas Kayak for 2008. Somebody is hoping to win this award. Now, when I see an award, I think of a competition. And do people get a little competitive about this?
Of course. We do. Of course.
You may not want to give this away because, you know, it's not until tonight. But can you give us a little sneak peek preview of what you're doing to try and win the trophy this year?
So I'm just going all out with more lights. More is better.
Christmas lights floating on the water, and I'm thinking hair dryer in the bathtub. Bad combination, electricity and water. After our onion has sat in the pan for about 3 minutes, just look for it to get a little translucent. Add a few more ingredients. We've got 3 tablespoons of flour, and we've got 2 crushed cloves of garlic. Like a lot of people in the competition, I don't paddle very much. In fact, I've never paddled competitively, and I don't even have my own kayak to practice, so I'm counting on this training to get me ready.
Core strength, rotational strength is huge when you're paddling. The biggest thing in paddling is balance. You're in a boat, you don't want to tip over, it's just going to slow your race down.
Easier said than done. One of the surprising things you discover while you're training are the little weaknesses you didn't know you had. For me, it's endurance in my shoulders. But Team KOHD is there to help me work through my challenge.
Matt! Yes!
Easy, Matt.
Yes, very easy.
I just wanted to jump in and cool off. And then we've got a little bit of spices here. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and we've got 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder. Santa indeed did leave us some frost. Now, you could call that a white Christmas. Not a white Christmas in my book. Certainly pretty sight around Central Oregon with all that frost, but not exactly what I would call a white Christmas. Without a doubt, out-presented us, my wife and I, 5-1. Minimum. Maybe 10-1. I don't know. The piles, amazing. I think anyone that has a baby first Christmas. And you know, it wasn't my wife and I. It's the in-laws and the rest of the family. Give those spices and flour about 1 minute to cook. Then we're going to add 2 cans of chicken broth and an entire can of pumpkin. Good evening, I'm Matt McDonald here with this KOHD News Update. You can imagine how terrifying it would be to be a pilot sitting in a small plane like this and have a bird hit the windshield. A Madras woman who pleaded guilty to stabbing her 20-year-old boyfriend with a kitchen knife was sentenced today. When tonight's You Ask, We Answer, Donnie asks who's responsible for setting Oregon liquor prices each month. One big wet mess out there, right? And of course a mess out there right now on roads. The last look at weather for us. While our onion mixture is cooking down, we can go ahead and prepare some of our other ingredients. We've got one medium sweet potato. We're going to peel and chop. Stir this up good. Now let me preface this, folks. I have never done acupuncture before, so we actually look for a tender spot.
And exhale.
All right, okay. I think I'm ready here.
Okay.
That is not bad actually at all.
So for a treatment, I could put in maybe 15 to 30 needles, and people fall asleep with these needles in them. So
you're trying to say you want to do this 15 to 30 more times to me, huh? And after our soup has been allowed to simmer for about 20 minutes, mixing all those flavors just right, we're going to take it off the stove and we're going to split this into two. So we're going to put half of it in a bowl. We're going to dump the other half in a blender. This is pretty much just because there's not enough room in the blender to blend it all up at once. And you might be wondering how the owner feels watching his house go down the street. Well, it's time for a little confession. That house is mine and I'm as nervous as you might imagine. The alligator down here at Orchard Park, well, he's seen better days. There's still a little bit of graffiti left here on his nose. It's part of a larger outbreak that's hitting Bend Parks. This might not look like your dream car, but it's generating a lot of excitement down here at the Bend Area Transit. It's one of their 4 new buses. The first day of school in this classroom is scheduled for September 8th. Right now, one of the challenges, getting all the books and supplies. And school organizers know the reality, it may not happen in time. Add that blended soup back to the pan. We've got one last ingredient to add while our soup is still cooking. We're going to add 1 cup of 1% milk. Certainly the gym then was crowded. People were excited, but I think what was lacking from this visit, which was readily apparent here today with Senator Obama's visit, was the explosiveness of that crowd. Several times people jumped to their feet cheering. In fact, cheering so loud, it was difficult to hear the senator speaking. Remember, you have got to be in this line of cars or one of the line of cars at one of the official ballot drop sites by 8 o'clock. At each of them, there's a Deschutes County Sheriff's deputy. He marks the end of the line at 8 o'clock. If you're not in line at that time, your ballot is not going to count. Now, looking ahead to our coverage, we're going to move from here into the Deschutes County Media Room. And Media Room is the hub of election activity tonight. I should say potential city councilor with us, Jody Barham, the tightest race of the night. Right now, as it stands, you are down by 2 votes. Actually, the most dramatic moment of the night, it fell dead silent right after the presidential election was called and John McCain took the stage. Stir that in and give the whole thing just a few minutes to warm through. Finally tonight, a love story you just can't make up. Lorna Anderson of Holmes City, Minnesota says on a chilly winter night, they watched a confused chicken fly into their yard, and yes, it promptly fell in love with their 12-year-old black lab. I just love stories like that. I can tell you, though, if it was my dog, chased the feathers off that chicken. What about Adam's dog? Let's check in with him now. And when we're all said and done, nothing left to do except enjoy a little of our holiday tradition here at the McDonald house, a little pumpkin soup. You want a little? Maybe not quite yet.